Dear experts and colleagues, it is with great pleasure that I greet you today on behalf of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, or UNDESA, and welcome you to this edition of the International Forum on Migration Statistics. I apologize I could not be there with you in person, but I know DESA is well represented by my colleagues from the Population Division and the Statistics Division. This is the fourth time that my department has the honor of organizing the IFMS together with the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development and the International Organization for Migration. And I would like to thank my dear colleagues, Mr. Stefano Scarpetta, Director of Employment, Labour and Social Affairs at the OECD, and Ms. Ugochi Daniels, Deputy Director General of IOM, and their teams for the tireless efforts and excellent cooperation in the preparation of this fourth edition of the Forum. And I would also like to thank His Excellency Mr. Anders Hall, State Secretary to the Minister for Migration of Sweden, and Professor Mia Rönnmar, the Vice Chancellor of Malmö University, for the generous support provided by the Government of Sweden and Malmö University. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a time when misleading and dehumanizing narratives around international migrants and migration have become key drivers of policy making, with harmful consequences for migrants and the societies that host them. Objective information about the benefits and challenges of migration is needed to dispel such narratives and to guide evidence-based policy making. The Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration gives priority to addressing information and data gaps and strengthening national capacities for the collection, analysis and dissemination of data and statistics on international migration and migrants. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development also recognizes the importance of supporting the production of high-quality, timely and reliable data disaggregated by migration status. Without doubt, the importance of having reliable data on international migrants and migration has never been higher than it is today. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past few years, we have made considerable progress in strengthening the evidence base on international migration, deepening our knowledge and understanding of both trends and policies. UNDESA recently released our latest estimates of the stock of international migrants residing in countries which are aggregated to depict regional and global patterns and trends. Our department also works closely with experts from around the world to establish global standards for definitions and classifications, so that the data on international migration and migrants from national statistical systems are harmonized and comparable. Now, despite this progress, the evidence base to inform local, national and regional policymaking remains inadequate. And furthermore, our understanding of migration and its relationship to development remains incomplete. A lack of clarity about what international migration is and is not, about who should be counted as an international migrant for statistical purposes, and about how migration levels and trends could be measured, combined with information that is often incomplete and out of date, leads all too often to poor decision-making by policymakers and mistrust among the public. Now, dear colleagues, less than a year from now, the UN General Assembly will convene the second International Migration Review Forum, or IMRF, to follow up on the implementation of the Global Compact for Safe, Regular and Orderly Migration. In preparation for the second IMRF, member states and stakeholders will take stock of progress in relation to the Global Compact's 23 objectives and its 10 guiding principles, highlighting challenges and lessons learned. It is critical that we continue to strengthen the evidence base and to document the positive contributions of safe, orderly and regular migration while highlighting the risks associated with irregular and unsafe migration. A better understanding of the linkages between migration and the transformative transitions affecting education, healthcare, food systems, jobs and climate change can also help to accelerate progress. Moving forward, we will need at a minimum 4 concerted steps. First, greater investments at the national and local levels in capacities to collect, analyze and use migration data. Second, we need a scaling up of efforts to improve the comparability of migration statistics and national data systems, including by implementing the revised UN recommendations on statistics of international migration and temporary mobility. The endorsement this year by the United Nations Statistical Commission of the revised recommendations is an achievement of which we are especially proud. And I'm heartened to see that several member states will share their experience in implementing the new recommendations during this forum. So third, we will need a redoubling of efforts to disaggregate available information about the most vulnerable categories of migrants, including women and children. And fourth, progress on these topics will require greater support for high-quality research and analysis, examining the multifaceted relationship between international migration and development. Now, dear friends, having access to high-quality data and statistics on international migration and migrants is important, but it's clearly not enough. All too frequently, migration is presented as predominantly a south-north phenomenon, despite ample evidence that most migration occurs between countries within the same region. Likewise, public perceptions often focus on the negative impacts of migration, downplaying or ignoring, for example, the transformative potential of remittances for families and communities, or the positive contributions of migrants in filling labour market needs. So the reality is that migration is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon. Expertise, such as is gathered here in this forum, has a crucial role to play in making sure that perceptions about migration are aligned with facts. Experts like yourselves have a clear role in helping to design, implement and evaluate policies to promote safe, orderly and regular migration. I count on this forum to help inform the important work that lies ahead. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention and I wish you a very successful meeting.